Good evening, it is Matt Rogers and thank you for joining Skywatchers. Scientific warnings of the great astronomer Carlos Munoz Ferrada, published 11 years ago to reveal that Spain and the Mediterranean, a great catastrophic triangle, along with the Sumatra, Asia Pacific and the territory of Chile. This information was demonstrated at the beginning of the astronomical calculations of Ferrada, published in 1999, but we know that each day new zones of high volcanic activity are added until the Earth will be shaken up by global cataclysm. Munoz Ferrada explains that this is due to a catastrophic approach of a comet planet called Hercules or Planet X, which eventually will pass 40 million kilometers away from the Earth, accelerating the great geophysical change which is already advancing. The Chilean astronomer specified the mass velocity orbital time, the terrible consequences of Hercules in our solar system. The interview was indeed published way back in June the 28th, 1999 on Channel 4 on the television in Puerto Rico and has subsequently been broadcasted as part of the extraordinary documentary video produced by Joseph Landon, director of Joseph Landon Enterprise. Chile recognized Munoz Ferrada for his mathematical accuracy in focus and regards to the earthquake that devastated in the south-central region of the country in 1939. The accuracy was such that extensive work that Ferrada set even the date for the earthquake, which was published in the Journal of Conception. He was only wrong by a difference of 2 hours. The disaster claimed the lives of 60,000 people. It also announced the Chilean earthquakes of 1960, the most powerful earthquake ever recorded, rating 9.5 on the moment magnitude scale, and of 1985. Carlos Munoz Ferrada was a genius in geophysics regarding to Hercules, who discovered numerous stars, galaxies and comets. Accuracy forecasted earthquakes, climate changes, volcanic eruptions and changes into the orbit of Halley's Comet. Carlos stated in many readings, it is a planet which travels again on an elliptical orbit of a comet and has a great mass of a planet. In other words, a planet with a tail. The true statements go on as this: the star is charged with cosmic energy, as to infrared radiation, which according to scholars will alter human health and behavior, will provoke incurable pandemics, brings wars, does not comply with the contraventions of established celestial physical laws, travels between our sun and the black sun, which is found 32 trillion kilometers away. It is approximately 6 times bigger than Jupiter. Its approach of 14 million kilometers from our world will create a disastrous attraction, where the liquid minerals inside the Earth will boil up. Tremendous amounts, internal pressure, and therefore volcanoes and earthquakes. It will end up penetrating our solar system and be visible to the naked eye as well as, indeed, photographed. Munoz Ferrada also goes on to say its arrival will cause human and geophysical changes, bringing much change and destruction. Munoz Ferrada did not say that the great final catastrophe would occur on August 11th, 1999, but that from a date of geophysical and climate changes would intensify, especially earthquakes in oceans of volcanic origin, with seaquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, changes of weather patterns. It goes on to explain as well that Hercules will be seen and photographed from that date onwards, and that its apparent appearance in August 1999 will be bigger than the Moon. Now, with the technology all the way up now to 2024, using mirrors, cover-ups above the Earth's atmosphere, holographic technology to cover up and hide part of the night skies so people can't see this. Indeed, this is how the planet has been seen and photographed. Even through the official media has given this phenomenon various false explanations. Now you, folks, for yourselves, see various photographs and video footage of two suns on various web pages, newspapers, books and magazines. However, the Chilean astronomer did not mention during this interview that the great planet glows in the infrared range, which makes it difficult to see with the naked eye and only in special conditions of light through the clouds, through special filters, when the weather or the major astronomical phenomena allows it. There will come a time when Hercules will be permanently visible as a second sun in the common conditions in broad daylight. This is why it is rediscoverable in the 1980s by orbiting infrared telescope IRAS, whose head was Dr. Robert Harrington, supervisor of the Orbiting Observatory of the North American Astronomical Agency known as NASA. After 5 years of study, Dr. Harrington revealed the discovery calculations that the star would pass very close to our world, and that from the year 2028, its consequences could become very serious to our weather patterns on Earth. These reports were published in the North American newspapers and magazines, and there were videos which mention this information of Dr. Robert Harrington, such as the interview that was done with him by the writer Zecharia Sitchin in 1990. Very soon thereafter, the mysterious death of cancer of the scientist who was in charge of the mission of the IRAS telescope raised serious concerns worldwide. There's been much speculation about the timing of Harrington's death by cancer so soon after the interview with Sitchin. I hear you ask, why has this not been spoken about through the media? Folks, late 70s, both in relation of Hercules as well as the scientific community who are at the service of large groups in the economic of political power, would publish various false interpretations in order to try to cover up the reality of this approaching planet in order to protect the financial markets. Many times when the sightings of Planet X is observed, the media, the scientific community, have posted that the observed star is Mars or some visiting star, and they have invented scenarios to justify the fall of satellites and shuttles, as well as terrible typical electromagnetic and radioactive storms throughout the whole of our solar system. People will state as well, who was Carlos Munoz Ferrada? Okay, he was born in 1909 in the south of Chile and died September the 11th, 2001. The fifth region of Chile, the city where he had his own residence and observatory. It is said that one day a friend went to visit him and found him housed in a tent on a patio of his house, saying that sooner, according to him, a great earthquake would occur. Some laughed at him upon hearing his scientific predictions, but his visitor got really worried because Munoz Ferrada had never failed his calculations of previous disasters. A few days after visiting Munoz Ferrada, there was an earthquake, a major catastrophe in Chile in 1985. From 1926 to 1929, he studied in the Chilean Navy. In 1956, he received the title of the first pilot of the Merchant Navy of Chile. In 1970, he became a member of the Professor of the College of Captains and Pilots of the Merchant Navy. He also studied meteorology and astronomy. At the University of Chile, he also studied engineering, physics, and railways of Chile. He specialized in certain areas of Astronomical Society of Paris. He was leader member of the Astronomical Society in Italy and also Astronomical Society in Milan, and was director of the Astronomical Observatory in Panama for 5 years. As part of his scientific discoveries of new stars and galaxies before they were seen by large telescopes of the world, were sent to the Royal Astronomical Associated Scientific Research Centre of London, prompting the institution to declare, due to the unusual case of Mr. Carlos Munoz Ferrada, from now on each new star will take a name of him who first calculated it and not of who accidentally discovered it with a telescope. Indeed, thank you for watching this very short video of the predictions of Carlos Munoz Ferrada, the Chilean astronomer. I'm going to give out more information about Carlos Munoz Ferrada, of his predictions, in longer videos. Thank you so much for watching this broadcast, and I will be back to you this weekend to show truth, to explain the past of these astronomers that sadly lost their lives. Please have a fantastic weekend. From Matt Rogers at Skywatchers.